Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Saturday evening. So, have you guys seen this? Have you guys had the story? If you haven't had the story, guys, please go to on YouTube to Life is Spiritual presents Anastasia's story. It's on Life is Spiritual. You guys can see there on YouTube. The channel is Life is Spiritual. So let me summarize the story for you guys. Like, I'm still shook. So Anastasia, guys, was raised by her grandmother because she doesn't know her mother. She was told by her grandmother that she was actually a twin when her mother gave birth to her. Her twin sister and her mother died the day she was born. So Anastasia is telling a story that growing up, when she started, at school, I'm not sure if she was at primary school or which part of, which level of school she was at. Her school kids used to tell her that her grandmother was a witch or a wizard, but she had no idea that her grandmother was a witch. But as she started growing up, her grandmother would send her to collect used parrots and, or visit her friends and collect, her friends' underwears, like panties. So maybe like she would visit you at your house if you're her friend and you hanged your panty on the washing line. She would take it, steal it. You would wonder like, no man, I hanged my panty on the line, but where is it? And you would just brush it off, not knowing that Anastasia took it and she went to give it to her grandmother. So now she had no idea what her grandmother was using all these things for. So it happened that this other day, because her grandmother used to sell African beer. So in South Africa, we call it umqompoti, In Northwest, it's called motompoti, like, bujala Tswana, like, for those who know Tswana. So, like, I'll just leave it at African beer. So this one time her grandmother told her to go to the house, I think, where they were brewing the African beer. So when her grandmother told her to go and stare, so when she got there, she saw a human hand. How she knew it was a human hand? Because her grandmother told her to use it to stir the African beer. And then she asked her grandmother, why should we use the human hand to stir the African beer? So the grandmother told her that it it helps to attract people and like for the business. Okay, fine. So I don't know what happened. Whether there were rumors in the village, people were hearing things. The police came and the police started searching around the house, investigating, and when they went into that room, they saw that human hand and they started staring deeper into the, the thing that she was brewing the African beer in, and they saw used pads and those underwears inside. That's when now Anastasia got to know that actually the used pads and the underwears that I've been giving my grandmother, she's been using them to also put into the African beer. Mind you guys, people are drinking this. Yo! Okay, so her grandmother got arrested, and when she was arrested, people were really mad in the village. I can imagine the people that were drinking the African beer. So her grandmother told her that, go to my bedroom. When you get to my bedroom, underneath the bed, you will see a clay pot. So open that clay pot. When she opened the clay pot, she saw a big snake. And after that, I don't know if it's a day later or the same day, her grandmother was released from jail. Just like that. So her grandmother was released from jail, and everything went on as usual, and she would clash with people, and people would come over to the house, and the grandmother would heal them and all that, and people's problems, marriage problems, whatever problems they had, they would automatically be solved. So her grandmother was using powders, and with this powder she would go to the graveyard and dug out a dead body, and take the nails of a dead body and the hair of that dead body and bones, and to make that powder, and then she would give it to those people, or tell them to to bring animals, for slaughtering, so that their problems can go away. So it went on and on like that. Some people, it was working for them. They will bring money, and she would tell her that she should never do any other job. She should do this job because it helps her, and she also inherited, the job or the gift from her late mother. So Anastasia's grandmother was given this, inheritance by her late mother. Okay, so now Anastasia started dating this other guy. The grandmother was not happy with the relationship. She told her that, I don't want you to date this guy. I don't like this guy. He's going to be a distraction to you and all that. So Anastasia didn't listen. She dated this guy and they got married. No, sorry, they had a baby. So after they had a baby, this one time Anastasia was busy outside and her grandmother was left with her baby in the house. So Anastasia was outside. She had the baby crying, but she didn't really mind because her grandmother, she was with the baby. So the baby at some point stopped crying, and she just continued with her duty. Once she finished with the duty, she went inside the house and saw the baby like he was sleeping. But after some time, she realized that actually the baby is not sleeping. The baby is like he's not breathing. They rushed the baby to the hospital and to find out that the baby actually died. Now she started wondering, because at that time, sorry, I skipped the part where her grandmother was like hit by a stroke, so she could not talk. So when she asked the grandmother like what happened to the baby, she couldn't talk because at that point she had stroke and she couldn't say anything, but she could hear when you were talking to her. So she started thinking like, so does it mean that my sister, my mother, my aunt, my father, and all my mother's siblings, every other family member, because she only knows her grandmother, like she only knows her grandmother from her immediate family. Does it mean that my grandmother also had a hand in that death? Because it doesn't make sense that she did this to my son, and so she said that before I forget something, when they're sleeping, she would hear noises on the roof, people knocking, and when she tries to open, no one would be at the door. Like it would just be like spirits are knocking at the door. And then they would hear voices when they're sleeping, like they would just be irritating and making noise. So after her son died, her baby died, she would see the spirit of her son, and like it will continue on and on and on like that. Like the boy was restless. So there was one time she did something to this person in the village, and the villagers were really angry, and they came and told her, where's your grandmother? Call your grandmother. She came out, she brought her out, and the villagers were really angry. They beat her up. Some had stones, they really beat her to make sure that she died on the scene. So after that, she was now left alone, and at night when she's sleeping, she'll still hear those things on the roof, and the spirits will still be knocking. When she gets to the door, no one is at the door. She would see the spirit of her son. And now the grandmother is dead. At least one of her grandmother's family members was still alive. She called them, the sister came and she helped her to organize the funeral. She said the people will still come, for those healing, and she would deceive the people because it was the grandmother with the gift. Yena, she was not yet initiated, so she would deceive the people, give them the powder, tell them to bring animals and all that, but it was not working for them. So until she stopped doing it, the grandmother was buried. She got involved at church, and guys, it's a very long story. Please go to the channel and check it yourself, guys. I'm still shocked. If you have a family member who drinks African beer, please make sure you show them this. And people who consult traditional healers, make sure you show them this, guys. This is crazy. This is hilarious. Like, People are really doing wicked things out there, and you guys are thinking that these people are for you, but they're out there to harm you guys. Please be careful and be prayerful. I love you guys. Bye.